Welcome back, everybody, to the Miami, Ohio Twitch stream here. We have an exciting match of Overwatch coming up for you soon. It is Ball State versus NEU, the 1 and 2 seed, going up against each other. And I'm excited for it. I am Wyatt, aka Libby Baby, and
I'm
this
Turner, also known as Spooky Hand. And while we are on the B stream for this one, it was just a little bit of a tech issue with us, so we ended up just deciding to throw this one on the B. The Kent game will be over on A versus Miami. So if you want to see that one, go over to the main stream. But if you're here for the Ball State NEU game, stick with us here. We'll have that one for you shortly.
Yeah, we are going to have it for you shortly here. It's going to be a very exciting match. These two teams are very closely matched. They've played each other multiple times before, and every single battle is always very fun to watch, so I'm very excited to see it.
In the main season, Ball State, again, the only team to knock NEU down a loss at all. NEU was able to take one win off of Ball State. The only team, in fact, to take any map off of Ball State was NEU themselves. But in the end, Ball State did come out on top 3-1. So as we rotate back around and quickly get into game here shortly, wondering what that map will be, I'm wondering if we're going to see some of the same thing or if NEU is going to be upping their game just a little bit. Because right now, I do believe that Ball is a little bit less warmed up than NEU is, I think, or they might be both the same. I forget if NEU has actually played a game yet today. I haven't. I was here a little bit later, but other than that, yeah.
I don't think they've played a game today. I do know that this is definitely Ball State's first game today.
I think it's NEU's because NEU, because the NEU ball game was decided yesterday. So yeah, they're both evenly less warmed up. Just depends on when the players actually got here. But both of them are in lobby soon, ready to go. And our first map is going to be the wonderful Lijiang Tower. We've seen this before a lot in this setting. So as we go ahead and see this, two titans clashing on this map, we're going to see how they play it and how this map gets decided who's going to end up taking it. I'm thinking from Ball State, we're probably going to see something like a Hazard, possibly a Ramatra or an Orisa come out. DPS-wise, I'm expecting from Bordy, probably going to be a Tracer or Genji, possibly a Sojourn. And then from the supports, I'm expecting Kiri Lucio, probably going to have that sim for the teleport rollout. But other than that, we are going to go ahead and get into game here shortly as we wait for the teams just to ready up.
Yeah, Lijiang Tower, very interesting map because all 3 points are so different from each other, and they can just inspire a ton of different types of fights, different types of comps even from each different point on the map because they are so different. So I'm excited to see that. These two very good teams fighting against each other on a very special map. I have casted this map a lot.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
It's this. It's been this, and what's the other one? It's the New Queen Street. No, not New Queen Street.
Kings Row.
Kings Row. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. It was one of them. But yeah, so we're going to go into game here very shortly, which means we're going to get to see what comps end up being decided from Northeastern. We're seeing Frisco on that Malga, followed by Hedwig on Cassidy, Ducklin on the Reaper, Q Hop on Juno, and Shiro on that Lucio. Ball State side, we're seeing that Ramatra from Ghost, and we're seeing Torbjorn, Bordy on the Sim for that rollout, Yixter on Lucio, and Spencer on Kiri. So a little bit like I was expecting. I got some of the DPS incorrect, but I do think I was dang right on the money for the tanks and the supports.
Yeah, I think you were. These are very common lineups. We haven't seen Ghost on Torb in quite a while. Bordy going to quickly switch to that Genji after the teleport is done. As we're already getting into our first team fight here, seeing Hedwig lay down some damage with that Cassidy.
Yeah, they're going to try their hardest. Right now, Ball State moving a little bit closer to the point itself, fighting around it. Hedwig is able to find a kill onto that turret pretty early on here. Dumpling taking a bit of an overestimated plan here, trying to get around the Ball State team as we see Ghost up on the high ground, trying to play some of that pick game here, and Droid followed up by Frisco fighting one-on-one head-to-head on the point itself. And right now, it's a pretty easy fight. Nobody has taken a general advantage over one or another, and both Nemesis forms have been popped. And Ducklet here trying to take out Droid as fast as they can, but that Suzu is going to allow for a bit of healing. But Hedwig takes Droid out of the fight early on. Frisco able to take out another one onto the tank. Cordy goes for a nice deflect onto Shiro. Spencer following it up onto Ducklet. We got an even 3v3 fight here, but no tank from Ball State side. Hedwig able to take down Yixter. And right now it is a 3v2. Can Ball State keep up the pressure, try and push Northeastern back? They are able to get the point itself. We are going to rotate back around and wait for Ball State to regroup.
Yeah, that fight, even though it was a 3v3 even fight for a while, Ball State did not have a tank, so it's going to be very hard to win a team fight without a tank making space for you, without a tank hiding you, shielding you from damage. So that is why we saw Northeastern get that cap here, but Ball State is coming back fast.
Down goes one and the only Spencer, followed up by Q-Hot. Droid is taken out by Ducklin as well, and now it is a 4v3. Ball State down a tank once again. They've got to try and fall back, regroup if they want to take down Northeastern in this position. They are just a little bit staggered out here, and they've got to try and get back into the action, fight Northeastern head-to-head if they want a chance of taking this one down. They have gone for a bit of a switch of play style here, so Yakester and Spencer and Troy being the only close one to their ult. Northeastern has Hedwig's Cassidy ult in the ready. Yakester able to take down Hedwig before anything can happen, but Hedwig is able to take down Joe. Droid follows up by taking down Q-Hop. And now it is just a fight in the corner. Can they take down Droid? Yes, they can. It's just followed up by the DPS battle from Ball State right now. Shiro able to take down Bordy in this fight, and Ball State goes for yet another regroup as Northeastern gathers up 57% on the point.
Yeah, Ball State's going to want to win this point here. They're going to want to cap it fast because Northeastern is already almost at 70% cap. They do have 2 support ults. They want to use those in this upcoming fight. They need to win this to have a shot of keeping it. But, you know, Northeastern has a lot of ults as well as they come out right now.
You see the Blaze, as well as the Curial, as well as Annihilation come out. Droid able to take one on the Q-Hop. Hedwig gets one on the Ghost. And now it's just a battle between the Titans right now. They're trying to battle it out. Frisco low on health here. Are they able to take Droid out as the Annihilation hits off? Beat comes out from the Northeastern side. We do see the Juno has Orbit Array at the ready. Can they get back in time to save the Northeastern team? Droid fighting out in the middle of point here as the block comes out. Both Annihilation are out of this. The Nemesis have been popped. Hedwig trying to do something. Fight against the Ball State team here. They anvil 2. Stick Ghost with that. Ghost is slowly drifting down on health. Can they back up in time? No. Droid is going to fall forward by Ghost. And Ball State, while gaining 18% of the point, they have allowed Northeastern to take it back once again and are now in last fight territory if they can get to the point at all.
Yes, it looks like someone was on the point there for a slight second to get that little bit of a cap. Northeastern had Ball State pushed all the way back to their spawn there as Duckling gets to the pick on Yakester. So Ball State's going to need to get to this point as fast as they can in order to keep this fight alive. The overtime clock has fallen out, so let's see what they can do.
Right now, it is just a battle between everybody. The Stagger is trying to go for as long as they can. Can they keep this up? No! Northeastern is going to take the first point of map 1.
Yeah, these 2 teams are very closely matched. Northeastern managed to take that first point, 100% cap to 18, and it looks like they are going to call for the attack pause possibly. So just maybe a bit of a regroup as we make our way to this next point. A lot of chaos, a lot of big fights there, and I just think that Northeastern was able to get the picks at the right time. Hedwig barely let Ghost do anything that match. Every single time a team fight started, Hedwig would immediately just pick Ghost right off with the headshot as Cassidy there, so it was very difficult for Ghost because they just didn't have their main DPS to do a ton of damage.
Yeah, they're trying their hardest, Ball State is, to battle against NEU. Of course, NEU is right now Ball State's biggest competition in this tournament itself, so they've got to try and fight hard because, again, NEU was able to take a map off of Ball State, so this might be the time where NEU tries to do the same thing again, rinse and repeat, bring that action back to the game itself, and Ball State's got to fight against it if they want a chance at taking game 1. But right now, NEU is in a much better spot to take it than Ball State is, and right now they've got to come back and win both of the points if they want to try and take this one back.
Yeah, one thing that I saw from Ball State's only other match in the tournament so far, it was Ball State versus Miami, Ohio. It was a very close first match, and then Ball State got warmed up, and they managed to dominate the other 2. Could we see something similar to that? I'm not sure because NEU is a very, very strong team, only suffering 1 loss to Ball State. So they are in a very strong sitting right now, but can Ball State bounce back? I think they can because they have before.
Yeah, while Ball State does need a little bit of time to warm up, I'm sure NEU is also in the same boat because both teams haven't played at all today, and this is their first map, so they're just adjusting to each other. They haven't played each other in a little while in the season in general, so they've got to try and recuperate those lost time, try to bring back their fight against each other, and remember what worked beforehand, it might work again. But as we go ahead and get back into game here, we're going to see what happens because Northeastern doesn't seem to have switched too much up, and neither has Ball State other than the swap from Bordy to Tracy.
Yeah, going to see Yakester going for some boops here onto Northeastern, seeing if he can get anyone off the map with that Lucio. This is a fun map to watch him play Lucio on as we have our Macho 1v1 going.
Yeah, Hickster quickly got a nice kill onto Shiro there, which puts Northeastern in a bit of a pickle. And right now, it seems like that Ramontra is in just a bit of a pickle himself as he's stuck in that corner. We're going to see what ends up happening here as they back off, which allows Ball State to take this point early, which is a little bit of a flip-flop from what we saw from Northeastern in the first round. And as we go ahead and see the Northeastern team slowly push up and Lucio go for a quick backtrack. Hopefully that Ball State is able to hold this point in their favor and fight against Northeastern or risk swapping. But a nice kill from Bordy and a better kill from Frisco. Trades off on a Spencer as Bordy takes him under Duckland. Ghost is in a bit of a spot, but so is Shiro as they overextend and are taken out of this fight. Hedwig now slow on health, but is able to take Bordy out of the fight as well. We're seeing who can take this point for themselves. Nobody is working on it right now as Troy takes down Hedwig, and it's just Frisco up against the remaining members of Ball State to try and fight against it with Genji on the horizon.
See, that's kind of one thing you see is that when Ghost actually has room to breathe and do some damage, Ball State is able to stay alive for longer. They have their main DPS alive. That was one thing last game that we saw was that Hedwig was taking out Ghost so fast, so he didn't have time to do anything. With Ghost back, Ball State is able to get a little bit more damage output, as well as Yakes are getting some nice picks there, and Bordy as well. So Ball State a little more locked in. Ghost able to stay alive for a bit longer. Let's see if they can keep this out.
Yeah, they're moving through the white room right now. A nice headshot from Cassidy is able to take down Yates in just a tiny bit. And Tracer going for a bit of that backlining action as Northeastern rushes to the point themselves. Heat does come out from the Ball State side, which gives them room to breathe. Droid is able to take out 3! And the 4th is knocked off the map. As Frisco and Shiro are taken out for a nice team kill from the Ball State team.
Ball State got maximum value out of that beat right there. You want to drop a support on, you don't want to waste it. They use that to get a nice 3K plus and fall off the map from Ghost there. And now Ball State still has 3 ults to use to try to defend this point for even longer. Let's see if they can continue to do so as Duckland's going to make his way to point now.
Yeah, climbing up the wall here. Lucio trying to play that knock off the edge and lay, excuse me. Frisco does able to take Droid out of this fight, followed by Hedwig. The Satellite Vector does come out from Q-Hop, which is the only ult that they have used. Nothing from Ball State has been used other than Ghost's overclock as Morty is taken out of this fight, as well as Yakester. Northeastern now takes the point for themselves, with Ball State only gaining 70% of their name.
Yeah, unfortunate ult usage for Ghost there. Got absolutely zero value out of it. The second he popped that Q, immediately taken out of the fight. That's not what you want to happen at all. Luckily, he is playing Sojourn. He's going to be lasering in damage to try to charge that ult again. Ball State still has 3 to use to try to get this point back, but Northeastern has 4. So, and then the beat comes down.
Yeah, Beat is used a bit early, but Hedwig is able to find a Deadeye on Spencer. We see Annihilation come out. Can Hedwig fall? Yes, he can. Droid now focusing on the rest. Duckland low on health. Shiro takes down Ghost. Droid is able to find 2. Can they find 3? Trying their best as they sit in the corner. Good time to try and take him out. Frisco falls. We see Duckland use Blade. Can they take Tracer out of this fight? It is a ult battle right now on the field, but Northeastern seems to have won this one as they go ahead and take the point back in their favor. But it is contested by Tracer, but a nice kill from Duckland takes 40 out of this fight.
They won it, but barely. Not much Northeastern people left alive after this fight. Ball State's going to be quickly making their way back to the point where they have 89%. They're in the advantage. They just need to capture it back, and they will be heavily favored to win this. But Northeastern, they are building up this percentage. So Ball State's going to have to find something. They're going to want to get this point back as fast as they can to end this one and get something on the board here.
Yeah, Ball State moving through the white room once again, trying to fight out 2 angles at once right here. We're seeing Tracer fighting on point here. Bordy trying to take anybody out. Finds Hedwig instead. Lucio going for the boop. Droid is able to find one onto Shiro. Ball State is in a good spot, but Duckland is able to take Ghost out of this fight in the spawn as they try to wrap back around. Can they take Genji out of this fight? Able to climb the wall? No, they are not. Droid finds one into Duckland. Bordy finds one into Frisco. It's just Q-Hop remaining for the Northeastern side, and Ball State is moving towards overtime. We see the Lucio. Shiro now on point. Try to take him out. They do. Ball State slowly moving to the point. It's now a staggered battle, but in the favor of Ball State this time as they stagger in. Q-Hop able to find one on Spencer. Yakester returns the favor onto Q-Hop, trying to get the ball out of this fight. They do so. Ghost finds one on Frisco, and the Northeastern side still trickling in, but Ball State, I do believe, has taken this point for themselves.
Yes, quite an exhilarating match there. Almost opposite to what we saw last time. Last time we saw a staggering battle in the favor of Northeastern. This time we see it in favor of Ball State, just showing how close that these two teams are. And I think that what we saw there was great stuff from the DPS, from the entirety of the Ball State team, but especially the DPS. I think Bordy was playing textbook Tracer there, just being annoying. That's how you describe Tracer. Just being annoying, being in their face. You don't necessarily have to get picks, though he has been good at doing so. If you're just annoying, if you are disrupting the backline, trying to bring out some cooldowns, that is just enough to maybe disrupt Northeastern a little bit, allowing them to win that fight there, win the point, I should say. So let's see if Ball State can keep this momentum, and let's see if Northeastern can try to combat this momentum, see if they can bring back what they had in that first game and take this point here.
And no swaps have come up from the side of Northeastern, and none have come up from Ball State either as they go ahead and try to fight for this point. Shiro sitting in the back here. They do have perks up to level 3 at this point in the game. They're trying their best to fight this one out on point and around it as Droid pulls out the Nemesis form from Frisco rather early on, which saves Droid their own Nemesis form. Can they take anybody out? No, Q-Hop is able to find one on the Yakester. Ghost in a bit of a pickle inside of the ground. Seeing if they can't do anything. Q-Hop is a bit low on health here, and the rest of Ball State trying to fight for this, but Northeastern does take the point in their favor as they wait for Yakester to wrap back around and get to this point. Duckland going to try and find this Tracer out in the open. They do. Bordy is taken out by Ghost. Returns the favor onto Hedwig. Can they keep this up? Duckland a bit low. Does get healed here in this situation as they fight inside of this choke. The Nemesis form does come out from Droid, although does have to go for a block here as Frisco hides behind the shield, going for a bit of poke damage onto the Ball State side.
Yeah, Ball State needs to disrupt Frisco here. He's holding that point, using Ramatra's ability to play nice poke to do some damage on the Ball State and hold this point very well. They're going to want to disrupt Frisco here, get a push going, and take out Northeastern's backline to make it so they can capture this point.
Right now, no Nemesis forms have been popped from either side. Yakester is able to find one. Droid finds two. Q-Hop is taken out as well. Hedwig finds one, but so does Frisco. And right now, it is just the 3 remaining members of Ball State against the 2 of Northeastern. 1 falls, 2 fall, and Ball State has taken the point for themselves.
Just better picks. Ball State had more valuable picks in that, which allowed them to get the point. Northeastern defended it well for as long as they could, but the good picks from Ball State allowed them to take this point back, and now they're going to want to hold this to build up this percentage here. Northeastern, they didn't get past 50%. That's good for Ball State, so they're going to want to hold this as long as they can. Northeastern is desperately going to want to get this back. They're going to want to stop Ball State's momentum that they have here. Though Ball State almost has 2 support ults, they have 3 ults from everyone else, and Northeastern only has 1. They are building, but let's see what we're going to see here.
Here comes the Satellite Vector. It is able to take Droid out of this fight early as Northeastern pushes towards the point. No ults have come out from the Ball State side. We're going to see what they're able to do here as they fight for this point. Tooth and nail right now. Hedwig does end up cleaning up a kill onto Bordy here. The rest of Ball State is wrapping back around to go for another fight in this, taking some pick damage and poke damage onto Frisco as they wrap around and go for a little bit of a regroup.
Yeah, if your tank falls that quickly, you don't want to use ults. It's not worth fighting if you don't have a tank. Just back up, regroup, and get it later. You have the ults to do so now as they come out.
We see out comes the overclock. Is Ghost going to be able to capitalize on it? Spencer is able to find one. The rest of them are hiding in the corner here. Shiro is able to take one on the Yakester. Out comes the Deadeye, but it is interrupted here as he falls. 45 one into Q-Hop. Can they take out the tank? Yes, Frisco falls. Just the Lucio remain, and Ball State is slowly taking this point as Droid gets a triple.
Nice ult from Droid there. Got the value out of it. That's what you want to use your Ramatra ult for. You're in a nice big group, able to get the triple kill with that Ramatra ult. Maximum value. That is how you want to use your ult. That is how you want to use that Q press to get maximum value from it. You want to be able to get as much people off with a nice tick from Ghost onto Shiro there.
Shiro already taken out of this. Both Nemesis forms have been popped from either tank. 40 finds one onto Duckland. The rest of Northeastern slowly fighting back towards the spawn to go for a regroup to try and save as much time as possible in this fight. Don't trickle in. You don't want to overextend and risk losing another member and staggering yourself even more. Ball State slowly creeping up on Northeastern's percentage here as they get closer and closer to that 77%. Can Ball State hold this? 40 with a double kill from the bomb is able to find Duckland and Shiro. Q-Hop is off the map. Hedwig is down, and Frisco is also off the map as they regroup for what could be the final fight of Game 1.
That was a perfect ult from Bordy there. That is the go call from Ball State. I've gotten 2 with my ult. Now is the time to push and take the rest of them out, and Northeastern knew it. Just get out of here and just regroup as the blade comes out and the beat.
Yeah, the beat does come out. So does Blade. It's not going to be able to find anything other than Spencer. And as it goes to 97, now 98, can they deny it enough? No, we do go into overtime. Annihilation was popped, but it's wasted. Droid finds one under Frisco. Overtime is ticking down. Is anybody get on the point? No! Ball State takes Game 1!
A very, very close Game 1. That's for sure. Absolutely amazing stuff from both teams. So close both times. But I will say, popping that annihilation there when you don't have any backup, not what you want to see. It's just not going to work. But, you know, it was a bit of an effort. And there it is. That ult there that won them that final team fight. Basically won them the game. A nice ult to get such a crucial kills. I mean, you take out Genji, your flex DPS, and your main support. Just absolutely crucial ult and a really good one from Bordy.
Yeah, that unfortunate annihilation that came out early, hoping to get on the point and find members of Ball State to extend it. As they got onto the point, that annihilation ran out, and that Nemesis form had to be popped early to get more health because he was taken to such low health. All he could do really was block as damage was poured into that Ramatra, and unfortunately, that did mean, I think, the end for the NEU team, because there was no other tank to hold down that fort, to hold down the point. And as the rest of NEU trickled in, Ball State, as a team, was able to take them out one by one and then secure that first game.
Yeah, that's the thing with Ramatra. When you use that annihilation and you don't have the support to do so, or you're just not on the point soon enough, you are just a big target. You are just a massive target for a Sojourn or just other Ramatra to just lay all their damage into you, entirely negate the usage of that ult, because you aren't getting into the grouping, you aren't powering up your ult by having more people in it and being able to use your damage, because you have to be up close. Yeah. And you're just a big target. So a little too early on the annihilation. Maybe if a little bit later they could have used it, it might have gotten some value, but they just didn't really have the backing anyway. It was very much in Ball State's favor at that point.
Yeah, we did see Spencer, I believe, Lucio Yakester went for a little cheeky boop to try and get him pushed further back, which I think allowed that annihilation to run out, because he was booped further back, and that 4-second annihilation timer had already run so low that by the time he got on point, because of that boop, it denied them even more space to try and extend it. But even if he had gotten on to point, that annihilation would not have lasted for very long. And while it did work out in Ball State's favor, NEU did put up quite a fight, but I think Ball State at this point is fairly warmed up.
Yeah, they are. They're definitely warmed up. Both teams are fighting very well. I mean, that last point was so close. I mean, you saw it. It really could have gone either way, just depending on how the fights panned out. It just came out in Ball State's favor in the end there. And we still have 2, maybe even more games. You never know which way it's going to go. I mean, we could be here for a long time. So it's going to be a toss-up each time, and that's what's exciting about seeing 2 very, very good teams go up against each other.
I do believe next map, as it has been stated before, is going to be hybrid, I think, is the next thing in line. So hybrid, a little bit different. We're going to see both teams combat not only getting to point, holding it, but then moving a cart all the way to the end, see which one can do it better. But the difference is Ball State was able to get these fights on the point relatively fast in their favor. So if they can do that early on and get something like 5.5 minutes on the clock, something we're used to seeing in this league so far, then they're going to be able to push that cart with a lot of time to the second checkpoint, which, while only gives a minute 30, 2 minutes 30 from the initial point alone is a lot of time to work with. And that is enough time that you really just need to push to the second checkpoint, and then you should have enough time after that to keep going if you can keep that momentum going. But as I have just been told, we are going to Kings Row yet again, which is going to be, I don't even know how many times, like 7 times in this bracket.
It's a very popular map. It's actually one of my favorite maps in the game, but yeah, we've seen it so much in this bracket just throughout the year. It's very, very popular on hybrid, but this map it's got a lot of tricky points to get past, a lot of corners. It's really tough on the attacking team to push the payload because their defense is so strong here, because there's just so many corners, especially if you want to play like a poke lineup like Ramatra or Sigma, which probably more likely Ramatra, as we've been seeing so far today. Maybe not here, but if you have all these angles that you can hold and just lay down the damage on all these high ground points that you're seeing right here are so good for these teams to use. So it's very hard on the attacking side. So you want to make as most of the advantage as when you are on defense as you can.
Yeah, you also want to hold as much space as you can. Something I've been seeing a lot this bracket has been giving up a lot of space early on, and that could be for a good reason, but a lot of the times, as you'll give up that space, it gives the attacking team more room to breathe, and you kind of want to condense them into one general area. And if you give them a lot of room to breathe, specifically the point you're trying to defend, then the defending team suddenly becomes the attacking team as they fight back for the point itself, which might be some teams' strong suits, but generally you should be playing your role more often than not, and you should be defending more often than not if you are on defense and playing that attacking role again as you are doing so on attack. But if you do end up getting the point, then you are playing that defense, and if the defense does give you room to breathe, then all of a sudden the roles have switched and the roles have flipped, and you've got to start fighting different play styles and fighting for different reasons, either to take that point back or to try and contest it for as long as you can and run down that clock.
Yeah, definitely. And this map just can pursue so much, just so many different play styles that it can force out because of just, like I said, I've said it so many times, all these corners, all these turns that you have to go around in this map. It gives so much advantage to the defense. But if you can find a way to play around it on attack, go with the right lineup to just counter all the high ground and all the corner usage. You can in turn become the defending team, or the defense can become the attacking team if they get a ton of momentum and it's like, oh, I'll just push the payload back. So there's so much that can happen on Kings Row and just hybrid in general. But yeah, it's a very narrow map. So yeah, like this last point right here, just holding that corner is so difficult to come past. It's just such a interesting map, and it can be a frustrating one.
I mean, and there's a lot of sandbox-esque type characters that you can play in a map like Kings Row. You have the ability to not only play a character maybe like Mei and try to wall off and separate off those tanks from the rest of the supports and DPS, but I know that we have seen a few Meis in this map specifically and in this bracket before. We've seen a lot of Sojourn. I know we've seen some Torb as they play a little bit of defense. I don't know if we've seen all too much Reaper. We have seen a bit of Sombra, but I'm expecting most likely we're going to see that Tracer or Genji come out from Bordy on the side of Ball State, and probably that Sojourn as well. And then the supports, I'm again expecting to see that Kiriko, maybe possibly the Lucio replaced by a Juno maybe, or possibly an Ana as well. But from the tanks, I'm kind of expecting to see, the Orisa, the Ramatra, not shocking. But from Ball State, playing an interesting game here from Bordy. We're actually seeing that Junkrat from Ghost. We're seeing Hanzo and Alphabet is now subbed in, and Spencer, on that Kiriko. But we're seeing that Zenyatta play style from Ball State. Obviously going for that better hold, high damage-esque type deal. And for Northeastern, the usual, that Ramatra, followed by the Sojourn, Genji, the Juno, and the Lucio as their supports.
I am surprised. I am surprised. I do think that we are going to maybe see some switches from Ball State. I highly doubt that Bordy's going to stay on Junkrat. Maybe he will. We don't know. As it looks like Troy's going to switch to D.Va here, who is pretty strong on this map. Looks like, Bordy is going to switch to Genji, running out with the Shimada brothers. Let's see what they can do here. Very different lineups.
Yeah. Ball State is on attack starting off this time, and the D.Va allows them to have a lot of mobility, but also deny a lot of damage for the Northeastern side. And as Frisco goes for a bit of this pick damage, and Ghost playing a bit of that Widowmaker, trying to take some shots off, take a good pick going out, and Bordy is able to find it onto Ducklin. Alphabet finds one onto Shiro, and right now we're just seeing the Northeastern side slowly start to crumble and fall as Ball State gains that momentum, gains that ground, and gains that ability to take this point faster as Bordy finds one under Frisco, and Northeastern is forced to fall back, giving Ball State the point early on, and we're going to see something close to 6 minutes, around that 5-minute 40-second mark to be exact. I think it's going to be more like probably 5:32.
Yeah, Ball State has definitely mastered attacking on this map. They have done it so many times where they've gotten it so fast. They're so good at getting the point very fast. And we did see Ghost switch to Sombra, Widowmaker there, because it's such a good character early on. It is probably good for him that he died, because I don't think he's going to be playing Widowmaker this entire time. Yes, he is going to switch. So, yeah, because Widowmaker very good at the start. Not very good for the long game, as we do see Frisco switching to Junker Queen.
Yeah, and like I was calling earlier, Bordy has gone to that Mei. Really close quarters, that Blizzard very strong. And while Alphabet does take quite a shot from Hedwig here, we're seeing the Northeastern pushing back a little bit as Ball State attempts to try and force their way through the Northeastern side. Bordy gets a nice headshot on the Q-Hop here, trying to fall back. Frisco is able to find one. Alphabet finds one, so does Hedwig. Spencer finds one as well. And right now, I believe it is a 3v2. Alphabet cleans it up, and so does Troy, giving Ball State the team kill and more momentum to push forward past these difficult chokes.
Yeah, definitely great stuff from Ball State there. I am not surprised to see Frisco switch to Ramatra. Junker Queen is just not that strong right now. Sadly, she's one of my favorite characters in the game. She's just not that strong. And I hope that for Northeastern's sake, that they can find the lineup that works. You don't want to get into a just thing where you're just constantly switching and nothing's working. You want to find that locked-in lineup that's going to work as the ults come out here.
We see Kitsune. Ghost is able to find 2. Can we see any more come out from the Ball State side? Ghost is able to find 3. Can we see more? No. The Northeastern side has gone for a bit of a regroup. Can he find 4? Yes! He can find 4, as the only remaining member of Northeastern is Frisco, the tank to back off.
Ghost, absolutely precise aim on that Cassidy there. Absolute textbook stuff, getting those long shots, those nice headshots. A very satisfying thing when you get a Cassidy kill. So let's see if we're going to see that all come out. We are.
interesting place to use that quick draw. High Noon is not able to find anybody. In his turn, Hedwig finds one. Frisco finds one. Hedwig finds a second. And unfortunately, Droid is off the map as Hedwig finds a third.
Nice stuff from Hedwig, using that ult there, getting all three. Ball State has reached the first checkpoint, so this is good for them. One thing that is a little concerning for Northeastern is they did have to use the ult there from Soj to win this, and we still have 2 ults for Ball State, and Bordy's almost at a third. Not to say Northeastern doesn't have more, they almost have dual support ults, and Ducklin is getting there, as well as Frisco, so this is going to be a pretty balanced team fight.
Out comes the Nano. Annihilation is popped. It's managed to find Q-Hop. Can it find more? It finds 2. Is Jordan able to find more? Finds 3. Ducklin is able to get one on the Morty. But the Annihilation finds 4.
I always like to call out the unsung hero. Right as that Annihilation comes out, we have a bunch of people antied, so they can't get healed. The support ult does nothing if you are antied. So that's great stuff from Alphabet there, using the Nano, using the anti perfectly to allow the maximum usage of that Annihilation from Droid. I love seeing Ana do what Ana is best for and just using her cooldowns to the maximum.
We are getting a little laggy here. The pulse bomb is able to find Frisco, taking out a lot of that Nemesis health. 40 backs off a little bit. We see Blade come out. Is it able to find anybody? Yes, it finds one. Going after the tank next. Hedwig finds one on the go. Can it find more? No. Blade is put away. Frisco finds a third, forcing the Ball State team to regroup at their spawn door.
Yes, very, very quick team fight. Nice stuff from Northeastern. They're going to want to really do something to stop this Ball State momentum, and they have a good thing to do so, which is that Annihilation. So they are probably going to save that for as long as they can. Maybe they're going to pop it into this next team fight. We don't know. Ball State not in the best position for ults right now. Spencer does almost have his, so that would be a good counter to that Annihilation should Northeastern decide to use it.
Yeah, Annihilation, big groups is what he's looking for, and it's good to try and put a stop to it. Nemesis Sword is popped. Annihilation still held here. Are we going to see it? Yes, there it is. No, that's just Nemesis. Sorry, I'm wrong. We see Anti come out. He's able to take Frisco out of the fight. Shiro trades one on the Alphabet, and now it's just a 4v4 on the board itself, but Northeastern is down their tank. Can Ball State keep the pressure alive? Hedwig finds one on the Morty. Droid finds 2 onto the supports of Northeastern. Ghost finds another onto Hedwig. And now Northeastern is in a bit of a pickle as Ghost finds a second, putting Ball State in a good spot to take this all the way.
Ball State can very much take this all the way. They are in a very good spot. Spencer did use the orbit there. I was a little surprised to see that come out. I don't know if they needed it, but it worked out for them. They're very close to getting this done here. Northeastern does have 2 ults. Ball State's going to want to charge these. They have a ton that they're going to be able to use. This is going to be a very chaotic last fight.
Yes, does have Annihilation still in their back pocket as well as High Noon. We're going to see something come out eventually. 40's got the blade, or 40 has the bomb. Duckman is able to take one out on the 40. Annihilation comes out, but nothing is able to happen. 2 Droid, and he keeps moving forward. Can they take him out? No, Droid falls, but he is able to take one on the Hedwig before that happens. And Q-Hop trying to keep the rest of the team alive as Ball State goes for a bit of a regroup.
Yeah, Ball State gonna regroup. Northeastern has a very big advantage right now. They have Frisco with his ult as well as Q-Hop with theirs and almost all charged. So this is going to be a big fight for Ball State to try and win this because Northeastern's going to have almost double support ults by the time Ball State is back. So Ghost is going to have to use that ult to the best he can to try to pick off these supports so they don't have a chance to use the ult.
We see Ghost fall early on. We're seeing the tank, Frisco, trying to battle this out, force Ball State back. They are going to go for, I expect, a little bit of a regroup. But we see Bordy in a bit of a pickle in the side room there. We're seeing Q-Up now going for those heals in the back as they wait for Northeastern's tank to regroup back with them and hold this choke. Once again, Ball State now down to a minute 10 to push this all the way. Their ults are building, but can they hold it? That is the question. We see an attempted bomb possibly come out of their close quarters here, but no, 40 decides to back off. Ball State now under a minute to push this all the way. Out comes Overclock from Ghost. Can they do anything with it? It is able to find one, maybe no, but Bordy and Spencer are able to pick up the pieces and put them together. Can they keep it going? Bordy able to clean up a second. Can they keep it going? Alphabet finds one. Bordy finds one. A team kill comes out, but they've only got 36 seconds to push it all the way.
At 36 seconds in Northeastern, the benefit that they have is they're very close when they respawn. So they're going to be able to get back to this payload very, very fast. But Bordy's doing a great job right now of distracting the Genji as the ults come out.
High Noon off the side. Is he going to be able to find anybody? We're not sure. He's moving quite fast with it, but it is going to run out, giving him a bit of percentage back. Duckman finds one under Ghost. The Annihilation comes out, pushing the Ball State team back even further. 40 quite low, but the Annihilation from Droid comes out as well. Can they get to the point in time? It seems like they will. Just to go this into overtime. Can they keep the pressure alive? The ults are going to fly. I'm expecting both Q-Hop and 40 to send it sooner rather than later. The Satellite Vector comes out. Ghost falls to Shiro. Duckman finds one on the Alphabet. Spencer finds one. So does Frisco. So does Bordy. It's close. Can they keep it alive? No. Shiro falls and is just or Spencer alive, but they are not able to get it in time, pushing it almost all the way to the end.
Holding Ball State only to 2. That is good for Northeastern. A little out of breath there after a huge team fight like that one. One thing that I am a bit worried for Northeastern is Ball State will be on defense now, and I did say how strong defense can be on this map, and I do know that Ball State is good at defense here, just as well as they are on attack. But it is a good sign for Northeastern that they only held Ball State to 2. Well, they did hold Ball State to 2. They didn't let them get 3.
Yeah.
So
it's possible that Ball State is going to be able to hold Northeastern all the way, but if Northeastern is able to push it to the end, this will be a tied game at 1-1, and so the comps coming out from Ball State. We're seeing Droid on the Ramatra, Bordy still on that Tracer, Ghost remains on Sojourn, and Alphabet and Spencer have not changed. And from Northeastern, we are seeing that Widowmaker, but other than that, the comps remain the same. So who is going to be able to hold or push past each other first and hold them the longest? We shall see as this timer ticks down.
Yes, the timer is going to tick down. Doesn't surprise me to see Hedwig on that Widowmaker there. Going to try to get some early sniper picks off this first point. It's pretty much textbook first point King's Row that you're going to play Widowmaker, trying to get some picks. It's a very fun character to play around here. Not surprised to see this lineup from Ball State. Ramatra very strong right now, as we've seen so far, using just a lineup they're very familiar with, and they're going to hold this as long as they can. I am surprised to see Hedwig switch to Sojourn so quick, though.
Yeah, we are seeing them wrap back around, try to hold as much space as they can. We're seeing Droid now on the low ground with Ghost up on high, trying to go for a bit of pick damage and block off Northeastern's plans of attack. See if they can hold it for as long as possible. Genji goes a little bit low, but right now Ball State is holding them relatively well around these corners. A little laggy over here, but that's not anything to be worried about. Alphabet with those snipe heals, keeping Droid alive. And the rest of Northeastern trying to find an opening and are cracking Ball State's armor. Can they do it right now? It is a hard thing to fight against. But both Nemesis do come out from either side, and both tanks, they force them into the room. Can they keep the pressure alive? Droid and Bordy, a little bit low on health, but healed back to full. This is a long fight and drawn out. Who is going to find the first pick? Right now we're seeing Northeastern go for a bit of a flank, but Bordy is able to find the first pick. And the second onto Hedwig and Q-Hop. Are they able to keep it going? Alphabet does fall, but takes Duckling with them with a quick trade there. Ghost finds one other Frisco, and then onto Lucio from Bordy as Ball State takes the first team fight win.
So one thing that is absolutely crucial about that is we notice it's already taking Northeastern longer to get this first cap. Ball State got it within a few seconds for the first team fight. So Northeastern, they're going to want to try to find something here. They're going to want to cap this point so they can get pushing, because the longer it takes, the less time they're going to have to push it. So they're going to need to find something quick here.
The Nemesis form does come out from Droid early. I do believe that Frisco still has theirs behind and in their pocket. We're seeing now as they slowly start to take the point. Ball State's going to have to fight around this if they can. A good stick is able to take Hedwig out of this fight. Can they find more? They're trying to. Spencer is able to clean up on Q-Hop. Ball State still trying to hold this for as long as they can. Shiro is able to take down Ghost, but Bordy returns on to Frisco and Alphabet, and Spencer clean up the remaining members of Northeastern. They are in a very good spot to hold this point.
I know so much is times we talk about, I've even talked to, Otta, Ball State's coach. They're a very offensive team. They're a very aggressive team, but I think we don't talk about Ball State's defense enough. They are defending this point very, very well, and I knew they would. I knew it was going to be a struggle for Northeastern, so it's a good thing that they held Ball State to only getting 2 instead of 3. They're going to need to find something quick here, but it's going to be tough as that Kitsu comes out from Spencer.
Yeah, the Kitsune Rush on the horizon, as well as Blade. Frisco has Annihilation, and the rest of the ults from the supports of Northeastern are soon and approaching. We see one Annihilation come out. Are we going to see more? Right now, Duckman is able to pick pick up one under Morty. Any other portals coming out are possible, but nothing just yet. The orbital ray does come out. 40 pops Annihilate, or not 40, Droid pops Annihilation to Hedwig. Cleans up one to go. Droid finds one into Hedwig. Can they hold this for as long as they need? They're trying to slowly take the point, but right now, Ball State is low on team support in general. Droid having to fall back just a little bit, but Kiriko trying to keep us alive. Can they take the Genji out of the fight? We see Blade is popped. But Kiriko teleports away that blade. Not able to be put to as much use as they hoped. It is going to get 3 swipes, but other than that, Duckman is in a bit of a pickle. Both overcalls to pop. Ghost finds one. Can they find more? They're trying their best to hold them back. Can they do so? Trying to find something. Hedwig eventually cleans up one of the ghosts. It's just Droid in the support. On the point itself, Spencer finds one on to Shiro. Can they keep it alive? They're trying as hard as they can. Duckling cleans up onto Spencer. Droid takes one onto Frisco. Ball State is fighting back. Can they hold it for the last 20 seconds?
I cannot believe that they've been able to hold it this long. They've extended this team fight for such a long time. It's still going on. It's like they have lost people, but they just keep coming back, and Ball State, they almost have 2 support ults. They're going to be able to keep holding this. They have only 6 seconds to do so. Out of that holding back, let's see if NEU can find something quick here.
40 is able to find the first pick of the last team fight. The Tracer Bomb is not able to stick, but it does find a bit of damage. Can they keep it alive? Ball State just needs this, and they go to 2-0. Ball State's just got to fight it. Out comes the Nano. Droid closing in on Annihilation. He's able to find one on to Frisco. They've got to fight on the point, but Annihilation is going to hurt them. Hedwig finds one on Morty. Spencer cleans up a kill on Hedwig. Annihilation is out. Droid gets 1, gets 2, goes cleans up, and Ball State is 2-0.
I cannot believe that Ball State managed to hold Northeastern there for that long. What a thrilling team fight from Ball State, from Northeastern. Great stuff. This is honestly one of Ball State's best maps. You do see Hedwig come out here with that play of the game. Such great team fights from both of them. Nice pick on the 40 there. Going to come out with the rail gun, seeing if he can get another. Does manage to help Frisco have to help him out. Gets one onto Alphabet and another onto Spencer. Great play of the game from Hedwig there. Absolutely exhilarating last team fight. Cannot believe that Ball State managed to hold it for that long.
I can feel my voice going. I'm going to hold out for as long as I can, but it's hard to keep up that pressure on the voice for very long. I'm going to try and give it a little bit of rest here in between games, but Ball State is 1 away from sweeping NEU in the finals. Can they take this all the way to the grands, where it's going to be either a fight between Miami and NEU, or I believe Kent State and NEU, between the side game that's going on. I think that's right. It's NEU. It's Kent versus Miami. Whoever wins that goes to fight the loser of this, and then they will fight either Ball State or NEU. You can see the bracket right there. I'm not sure what the current results are of the Kent State-Miami game, but whoever ends up winning that moves on to the losers final, and then whoever wins that goes all the way to the grands.
So, yes, Ball State win it. If Ball State manages to win this next map here, they will go straight to grands. NEU will get sent down, and knowing how good of a team they are, I am confident that they will be able to fight their way back, and we might have a Ball State NEU grand final, but we can't count out the likes of Miami or Kent State. Miami came in this as the 5th seed. They are a good team. You never know what they could come out with, so anything could really happen, but Ball State, I think, definitely might be the favorite to win it all here. We're unsure, like we said, NEU has taken a game off of Ball State before, and it was game 3 that they took off of them. So let's see what we can see from NEU here to fight back. It isn't a great morale booster to not even be able to get the cap on hybrid. That is very unfortunate to happen. But I do know NEU is a good team, and especially if this is Flashpoint. There's been new rules of sometimes we get pushed for map 3 or Flashpoint.
I wonder if they're able to pick between push and Flashpoint. I don't necessarily know the way that they decide. I know the loser picks, but I don't know if they have a choice between the two. It's just kind of been alternating every once in a while.
Yeah, I don't really know. So if it is Flashpoint, and it was Suravasa, it was Flashpoint Suravasa that NEU managed to beat Ball State on in the regular season. I remember that very well. So it is Runasapi we are hearing. So it is push. So I also do know that Ball State did beat NEU in push on Runasapi in game 4 of that, because I know that Ball State has some nice strats on push. So let's see what NEU has for Ball State here to try and not make this a 3-0.
Yeah, at this point, it just comes down to cushioning. And right now, Ball State does have that 2-0 lead over top of NEU, but push is a very cushioning type game mode. If you can push it as far as you can and then just play defense the rest of the game for that 10-minute timer, you are able to just secure the game simply off of your initial aggression. But you also have the opportunity to take that aggression all the way to the 125-meter mark to secure yourself the game early if you're able to fight against NEU or Ball State with enough power to get past the team.
Yeah, the thing about push that I like to kind of say about it is it's like hybrid, but both teams are on attack and defense at the same time because they only play one basically.
Yeah.
So like it's just all about whoever pushes it farther one time.
Yeah.
There is no second game or second match or map, I guess, because it's all just one map. Yeah. So there's no. It's just whoever pushes it farthest the first time. So it's an interesting game mode to see. It's all about just how far you push that robot. So let's see how they do it.
Yeah, I'm wondering more or less what the comps are going to be. It seems like NEU has been switching things around. Same with Ball State, actually. So they've got a little bit of momentum and maneuverability to work with right now. While Ball State does have the momentum, I'm certain that NEU still has that maneuverability to try and work around whatever Ball State throws to the table. But as we go ahead and get into game here, we're seeing from Northeastern that Ramatra and Hedwig on the Cassidy, Ducklin on Widow, Q-Hop and Shiro still on the Juno, Lucio. From Ball State, we're seeing a bit more of a dive comp here as we see Droid on Winston, Ghost still on Sojourn, 40 on that Tracer and Alphabet, and Spencer still on that Akiri duo.
Yeah, dive is very strong on Runasapi here. Ball State knows how to play dive well. Northeastern's goal running out with this comp against Ball State is going to be trying to out-brawl Ball State's dive. They want to go to the backline, get rid of Droid's support as he is diving onto their backline, essentially trading backlines from each other. So let's see as Droid turning Winston into a bit of a poke character for the start of this game.
Yeah, the one thing Droid is lacking in this game is that ability to gain health back fast. Other than using the ult, Droid just has to place that shield and then hope that he can get healed back to full health. So it's going to be a lot harder to brawl out on the bot itself. And instead, they're just going to go for the picks, try to support their DPS and getting as much damage. Go for those dives and those weaker characters, try to secure a pick so that they can get a little bit further. And right now, we see Droid go for a bit of backtracking here as Ball State is playing around this terrain very well.
They are doing a very good job playing around this high ground. This map has so many areas we can go and hide. Droid can do some diving in, trying to fight Frisco here. This isn't what you want to do as a dive tank, as he does manage to fall to a combination of Hedwig and some of the other members of the team. The dive tank does not want to be forced to actually have to brawl with Ramatra or another brawl tank, because you will lose. Your damage output is just not, your quick high damage output is just not as high as someone like that. So he is going to switch to D.Va, who can do a little bit more brawling. Kind of the most unique dive character in the game so far. Not as, because you can't just dive right into the backline. So let's see if this is going to work out a little bit better in his favor rather than Winston.
Yeah, right now, Ball State is definitely changing things up, trying to fight back against NEU right now with these swaps. Ducklin is able to find one on the Bordy relatively early on. Can he find any more? That is the question. Then he goes up on the high ground, good for a bit of deflection, but does get quite low as D.Va peels to try and help out the supports up on the high ground. And while NEU has now gotten to that halfway marker, Ball State's got to try and fight back and start fighting back now, because you don't want Northeastern to have enough momentum that they're building up if you are Ball State. And right now, that does seem to be what NEU is trying to do most. And as Ball State fights this high ground, they're just able to get picked and peeled off ever so slightly, ever so slowly. But right now we do see Satellite Vector come out from the side of NEU. Are they able to find a kill through it? Ducklin is able to find one, a good deep gun. Droid tries to peel back, but is taking out a mech. Is there anything else going to come out? Ghost is able to get one on Ducklin. We see Q-Hop trying to find anything at all. Frisco is able to take one. Bordy takes one as well. Good trades coming out of Shiro. Finds one as well. Bordy goes a little bit low here. Can they keep this up? That is the question that is on the table.
Yeah, they are going to have to try and keep this up. It's a bit of a mixed fight, looking like Northeastern coming out a bit of his edge. This is a nice pick from Alphabet onto Q-Hop. NEU actually has no supports right now, so can the supports of Ball State put in the work? They can to get this robot on their side. Going to need to push it pretty far here to match Northeastern. All they have to do, they don't have to push it to the end. They just have to push it farther than the other team. That is a crucial thing that you have to keep in mind with Robot. It is not about pushing it to the end. It is like Hybrid in the fact, or push the payload, in fact, where you just have to push it farther than the other team. And it's kind of a little different in doing so with Robot. So one thing that Ball State's going to want to stop is this Ghost gets a nice 2K with the ult, as all the ults are going to come out now to count.
Yeah, but the issue is Ramatra's pushing that cart while they're in this fight, and so he's just going to slowly get to the halfway marker again. And while that is the case, it's going to give all of the Northeastern players who just fell that quick spawn to get right back in the action. Ball State now peeling to try and take Ramatra out of his fight, but that is an unfortunate use of ults just for Northeastern to come back from the quick spawn and return to the fight quicker than you were expecting.
Yeah, that is Northeastern doing to Ball State what Ball State did to them in their game 4 at Runasapi. While they're focused on a team fight, send one of your members of the team, just have them push the robot if they can, and get it out of Ball State's favor. So now, while they didn't really get any gain, Ball State has just as much amount of work to do as they did last time, as all the ults are going to come out now.
See Pete come out. The Annihilation come out. Frisco able to find one. Or anyone else going to fall. Duckland finds one as well. Diva peels to try and get back, but Frisco finds a second one. And Ball State is now trying to get back as much as they can. Droid is off the map. And it's Hedwig cleans up for the team kill for NEU.
Yeah, NEU playing very, very well on push here. I'm just doing a good job of not letting Ball State get any momentum. They barely even pushed the robot, as they're now going to be able to push it even farther. So Ball State is going to need to try and get this robot out of NEU's possession. They can't let them push it all the way, because then NEU will immediately win the game and they will go into game 4. So let's see what Ball State can do to try to find something here against NEU, and that's a good start, taking out the main DPS. As Troy gets 2, can he get a third? He does.
The Nano does come out. Droid able to find 2. Spencer picks up 1 as well. Can we see any more come up from Ball State? Genji falls to Bordy, and the rest are slowly going to crumble as Lucio tries to get away. Can he hold the point for a little bit? Yes, he can, which allows Northeastern to get more of their members back from quick spawn, and I think Lucio is going to be one of them as well. And now Ball State still has to just fight. Once they have the robot at this point, they need to overcome Northeastern in this situation to fight back and start pushing the cart in their direction.
Yeah, Ball State needs to win a team fight when they actually have the robot in their favor, and they're struggling to do so right now. Every time they push the robot back there, NEU just has immediately overpowered them and is going to continue to push the payload. Ball State just has barely pushed the robot so far. So as it's looking right now, this is very much in the favor of NEU. There's still 4 minutes left on the clock, but NEU has so much momentum, and they're going to keep pushing it here. So Ball State's going to need to counter NEU right now and actually win a team fight when they have the robot in their favor on their side of the map.
Yeah, they're just allowing NEU to push forward, but with a good kill from Ghost, they're going to have the power to start pushing back. Some ults are online. Ghost finds number 2. Can they find any more? Droid is quite low on health. Is any support going to be there? No. Hedwig is able to clean up. Hedwig, though, then falls to Alphabet at 40. Picks up the final kill onto the Northeastern team. And once again, we are going back and forth between the Ball State and NEU rosters.
So now what we need to see here in this next team fight is Ball State, crucially, has to win this team fight to gain any sort of momentum. They have not pushed the robot. They need to win this team fight to push the robot, but as we see here, Frisco is going to just keep pushing it. He's going to meet up with Ball State here. Ball State kind of holding back to maybe see if they can win it farther back to get some momentum to push it forward.
Now we do see Annihilation as well as Overclock at the ready. Frisco is able to find a kill on his Spencer though. Annihilation comes out from Droid. Is he going to be able to find anything at all? No! High Noon is able to take Droid out, but 40 is able to find one in the queue off as well. Hedwig finds number 2 as he's taken out by Ghost. Can Ball State hold this for long? They're running out of time. Bordy able to find another. Ghost able to find one as well, but Frisco finally takes Bordy out of the fight, and Northeastern is now in a better position to keep pushing this as Ball State has to regroup once again, and Alphabet is close to getting staggered.
Yeah, at this point, it's looking like Northeastern might be able to push it all the way to the end, as Ball State kind of randomly finds something and win a team fight here. But like we've said so many times before, they cannot just keep winning. It's kind of weird that they're winning it over there, but the second they get it to where they actually need to push the robot, they've been unable to win the team fight. And it's almost like Northeastern knows that they don't have to play as aggressively when it's on their side of the map, because they are just regrouped immediately to try to get it back in, as Frisco has Annihilation and the ults are just going to fly here.
We see Kitsune Rush come out, as well as Annihilation, I believe, from Frisco. Droid is able to take out Hedwig. Is Annihilation be able to find anything? We don't know just yet. Blade comes out in the back line. Is it able to find anything? Yes, Stuckman finds one. Frisco finds one as well for the Northeastern team. Spencer and Bordy are able to return the favor. Zero finds one. Bordy finds one. It's a back and forth game right now, and the only remaining member is Frisco for NEU and Bordy for Ball State. but that is not a fight you want to take at the Genji. But that just means that NEU has the time to peel back to the team and force Ball State into another fight right at the middle of the map.
Yeah, it's the same story over and over again. NEU is going to be right around this corner, entirely regrouped and ready for Ball State to arrive with the robot and just keep pushing it. Ball State can just not get any momentum right now. They need to push this, but they're just unable to do so. Frisco able to hold that nice high ground angle. Alphabet does have his ult. He's going to probably want to use it here just to try and win this team fight and get the robot pushed, maybe build some momentum. But Frisco is just staying alive as he's getting healed. And there it is. Ults are going to come out, seeing who can win this one now.
Heat comes out, so does Satellite Vector. Hedwig is able to find one, as well as Duckland. Can they find any more? Joy takes one out under Frisco, but Hedwig finds a second. A total of 3 for the Northeastern team. Are they able to find more? Shiro and Hedwig picked up for the TK for Northeastern.
Yeah, Northeastern just holding it so well. And now it's kind of the same thing, just over and over again. That's kind of why I'm not a huge fan of Push, to be honest, because this match has just been the same story over and over. Ball State just not been able to find anything, and it's looking like we're going to go into a Game 4, which will be Flashpoint. So, unless Ball State can find something here, right now, and win these next 2 team fights, that's right, 2, not just 1, they're going to have to win it here, and they're going to have to win it again at the middle of the map. And unless they can do that, this is going to go to Northeastern.
Yeah, they don't even need to win 2 team fights, even with every consecutive one after that. 40 is able to find one, but so is Hedwig with Deadeye. Can't any more come out. Hedwig finds number 2. Are any more able to come out from Hedwig? Ball State is peeling as Annihilation comes out. Duckland finds one. Hedwig finds number 3. Droid is able to clean up onto Hedwig as Blade runs out, and so does Annihilation. But right now it is just Droid on the point as time runs out. Overtime has been initiated, but none of the Ball State members are there close enough except for the Genji and the Sojourn. Can they hold this for as long as they need to from this point to the end of the game? That is the question to be answered. Ghost close to being fallen. 40 finds another Duckland. Alphabet finds one. Shiro is able to take out Ghost in overclock. 40 finds number 2. Are they able to hold this all the way? I am not sure. Q-Hop finds one on Spencer as well, but Alphabet is able to clean up on Hedwig, and Droid on Doomfist gets one on Q-Hop. They now need to take it from here to the end.
So, Ball State, this is very much not a great situation for them. They have to win a team fight in the middle of the match, which they haven't done so all game. And even if they do that, they need to push it all the way to the end. It's looking like Northeastern might be letting them have a little bit of space here as they are going to be pushing up. Droid is on Doomfist, which is a character he's very comfortable with, but they've already found 2.
Yeah, 3. Hedwig with a triple. Duckland cleans it up, and nobody is there from Ball State to extend overtime. Northeastern is on the board.
Yes, not surprising. It's almost like deja vu. Northeastern taking 1 in Game 3 off of Ball State. He's still the only team all year to take a game off of them. So Ball State, to continue to win this, is going to have to win this next point on Flashpoint here. And Northeastern is going to be in reverse sweep territory to try and see if they can pick one off Ball State.
They've got to get every win from here on out. Northeastern wants to reverse sweep. They have the potential to do so. We saw them win the game just now, which means they have the strength to fight against Ball State. But Ball State is definitely not giving up that game easy and are going to push back just as hard as Northeastern is right now. So it's going to be an even game going into game number 4. And who takes that is up in the air right now, but we will get to that very shortly, which will be that Flashpoint map.
Yes, and if it is Flashpoint, if it's Suravasa, it could be a bit of a revenge story there. Is Ball State going to be able to beat Northeastern on Suravasa, which they weren't able to do so last time? But one thing about Suravasa is I know that Ball State's very good on that map, especially Yakester on that Lucio, basically never touching the ground. New Junk City's a bit of a different story. It's kind of a wishy-washy map. I don't know much about it in terms of how Ball State performs, and I've never seen Northeastern play on New Junk City. So it's a bit of an unknown for me what we see if we get that New Junk City map, but I am excited to see whichever one we get.
Yeah. Excuse me, my voice is so shot.
Play.
Yeah. And again, whoever wins this does go to the Grands, and whoever loses while they are very high seeded, both of these teams, I think they have what it takes to fight through the losers bracket as well. But whoever loses this does move to losers final. So they only need to win one more game today to move back into the grands, which will take place tomorrow on Sunday. I believe right now it is scheduled for 2, but that may change as League of Legends also has their grands very first.
And we know how League of Legends is. Those games love to go long. They did today.
Yeah.
So you never know what's going to happen at these lands. You know, they're so busy. So it's just kind of a turnoff here. I guess Ball State, I think that they do have what it takes to win this next game on Flashpoint. But like I said, I have seen Northeastern beat Ball State on Flashpoint. So who is going to take it? It's kind of, we don't really know. It's just all going to be about who plays better. Northeastern is honestly going to have to play near perfect here for a ton of more games. They're going to have to win the next 3 in a row to win overall. And that is something that's very difficult to do. Once you've already won, lost 2, then win 1, it's mentally exhausting. It's like, okay, so we are now going to have to play perfectly for 3 games in a row. We just won 1. So 4 wins in a row, essentially, to win at all. And that's just very mentally exhausting. But if there is a team that can do it, it would be Northeastern.
Yeah, and I think right now, while Ball State still has a bit of that cushioning is only 1 game away from falling out. And so you've got to fight hard here if you want a chance at just taking this to the grands right away. Don't give Northeastern room to breathe. We did see a little bit of that deja vu. So if Ball State is able to come back and take this Flashpoint map, I think they have what it takes to beat Northeastern again if they're able to make it all the way back to the grands through the losers bracket as well. But we are going to see Suravasa come out from Ball State. I believe that was the one you were talking about, that Northeastern actually won against Ball State. However, if the control map is anything to speak of, Ball State is very good at playing defense once they get that initial point control. So if they're able to hold that momentum all the way through the end of the game, I think Ball State has a shot. However, Northeastern has shown that they are very good at doing exactly the same thing. These are 2, again, titans clashing right now. And so we'll see who comes out on top in the end.
Yes, and the thing about Flashpoint is it's almost polar opposite of Push the Robot. Push the Robot, it's a little bit slower. It can get a little bit repetitive. Flashpoint is so fast. That percentage ticks up so fast. Every team fight on Suravasa, on New Junk City is critical. You need to be winning these fights because one team fight can get you 70% on the point because it ticks up so insanely fast. Mm-hmm. So if these types of game modes like Flashpoint have no room for error, essentially, you have to make the most out of every team fight, every kill. It all matters on Flashpoint.
Yeah, and so do the comps, because with how fast these games fight, you've got to make your comp decisions early, and switching really can only take place either when you die or in between the captures, because you do also want to be the first team to the point. And while the first one is even, the ones afterward may not be. And from Northeastern, we're seeing that exact same comp, but from Ball State, Droid is now on that Ramatra, Ghost is on that Ash, 40, and Yakester and Spencer are still on exactly the same thing. And as we get into this fight here, we're going to see who's able to take the first pick again, because as they both clash without any ults to their name and barely any abilities, it does seem like it's an even match. But Ducklin is able to turn that favor into Northeasterns as they take Yakester out of the fight early. We're going to see if Ball State is able to recuperate their losses and take one back over Northeastern, but it does seem like they've fallen back and given them the point early.
Yeah, you lose your main support. You're going to want to fall back there. Northeastern is going to get this first cap. Snout is very critical for Ball State to win this next one. Like Northeastern already approaching 10%. It's so fast, but that's a nice start. It's picking off the main DPS.
Indeed, Hedwig has been a little bit of a menace for the Ball State side, and now we see again these Nemesis forms clashing right now. Can they take each other out? Yes, Droid is able to find one. Genji is able to fall as well as 40 picks up 2. Spencer cleans it up, and Ball State now start moving this in their favor. But look at the percentages already. Northeastern at 36. If Ball State is able to win this next team fight, they will be in a very good spot to take the first point.
Yes, Flashpoint is just so nerve-wracking playing on it, just doing anything with it. Northeastern already at 36%, but Ball State responded perfectly. Regroup, and we'll fight it again. Just don't let our main support get picked off so fast, and we have a very good shot of winning this. Ball State has already matched Northeastern's percentage, and they're going to be holding this very, very well. Ball State's a very good defensive team. Hedwig already close to falling, so let's see how this one goes.
Yeah, we do see Yakester's able to pick up Hedwig. 40 is running away, trying to get to health. Can they do it? They stay just alive as Droid picks off another. Shiro in a bit of a pickle. Does fall to Droid as well for a double kill. Droid picks up a triple, and Yeager cleans it up for Ball State. Now at 70% already, Northeastern has got to either decide to give this one up or fight it into overtime, but we are going into a bit of a tech pause, it seems, in between fights here, so we'll get back to this very shortly. But wow, what a start between these two teams.
Yeah, that is, and just these flashpoint maps are just so high tense, because like Ball State already has 76. Northeastern has to win the next team fight or just choose to give it up, like you said. So it's kind of like, what are they going to do? What's the decision they're going to make? And another thing is Lucio on Suravasa is very, very strong. Practically playing outside of the point almost. Practically just playing their own version of dive, just going after whoever they can. It's a very interesting character to be seen played on Suravasa. And it's no surprise to me that we see that Lucio. So how is Northeastern going to respond as we get back in the game? Ball State already approaching 90%.
Yeah, they're going to have to fight this into overtime, which it looks like that's what they're going to decide to do. Ducklin already fighting this Tracer. Can they get it at a point in time? It's going to be close, but they are going to take this one. Yes, into overtime as it goes. Bordy finds a pick the one is Shiro. Can they keep this alive? The Nemesis forms come out from both sides. We do see the bomb comes out as well as the orbital ray. This is going to be a very long fight with those supportals. We see Hedwig able to clean up on Spencer. Blade comes out, but Droid cleans him up. Can they keep this alive for long? Yeager's able to take one. Bomb takes one of the Q-Hop. And right now it's just Frisco who falls. Ball State is only up against Lucio. Can he hold it for long? No. They are going to take point number one.
Ball State got that first point. The only downside for them is they had to use a lot of ults to do so. But if you're going to be Northeastern, you don't really want to have to use your ults to win the first cap of point. But maybe they might want to because of how fast that percentage takes up. We've talked about it. So it's kind of just so much on Flashpoint. It's so unpredictable. What are we going to see them do? Are they going to use their ults to get that quick point? Are they going to save them to try to win a crucial scenario to have it at the end? What are we going to see them do? We don't know. They do. Ball State does have a Lucio, which will be very good for them, and Droid's already looking a little low.
Are they going to be able to keep Droid alive? We do see the beat come out to try and buy a little bit of time, but Annihilation from Frisco comes out as well. Can they keep Droid in this fight for long enough? Bordy falls to Ducklin. Frisco is able to take Droid out, which means they have indeed used an ult to trade for it, but so did Ball State to try and fight for that as well. And Northeastern, once again, has the point very first.
So one thing Northeastern's going to have to do differently this time than they did last time is they're going to have to hold it way, way better. They lost it way too quick last time, only getting 36%, and they have the ability to do so. They have the skill as well as Shiro having that beat to try to stop Ball State's attacks. It's just, are they going to use it in the right time is essentially what we're waiting for.
Yeah, we're seeing now. Notice it does come out from Joy, but Frisco's able to pick one up onto Ghost early on. Can they keep it alive? Bordy finds one onto Hedwig. Frisco and Shiro trade off to clean up the kills onto Yeager and Droid, and Frisco gets a nice double onto Bordy to clean that one up. Well, Ball State did take a bit percentage off of them. That is going to buy Ball State some time to come at this fight one more or possibly two more times.
Yeah, they did also use the beat to do so. I don't know if they necessarily needed to use it is the problem. It did work out in their favor. They won the team fight, so that is all that matters. But I feel as though there was a chance they could still have that beat coming into this fight, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, right now they are forcing Northeastern to take a bit more of a passive play stop here. We're seeing now Tracer go battle the Genji. They use the deflect. Are they going to be able to take Genji out of this fight early on? Can they do it? Droid is able to secure it. Look at the assists on that. We see the satellite vector come out. It is going to go contested into overtime. Ghost and Yeager are able to pick up one into Shiro and a Hedwig, but Frisco is able to take Droid out of the fight as well. They got to fight on the point to take this one. It's just Frisco and the supporting Q-Hawk to try and hold this one for as long as they can. Out comes Bob onto the point. Is it going to be there for long enough? Spencer takes one of the Q-Hop. 40 cleans on to Frisco, and now Ball State has the point. They're going to have to hold it from 20% all the way to 100.
If it was me personally, I think I would have let that fall, just let them have the point. But if Ball State is confident in their ability to hold it, then I see why they invested that Ash ult to get points. So I think they are confident in their ability to hold this point and try to get a second capture here. They already at 50%. The percentage does tick up so fast. Droid almost has all. So Ball State could entirely put this on his head and get this point capped.
Seeing Ball State back up a little bit. Northeastern is going to try and take the fight here. Nemesis comes out early as well as the block. And now Droid and Bordy both have their ult. Both supports on the way for the Ball State team. And from Northeastern, all they have right now is Ducklin and Frisco's ult. We see both Annihilations get popped. We see Duckman able to take out Ghost. Can they keep this going? The Orbiter Ray comes out as well. Can they keep it alive? They're still holding the point to the 90%. Spencer able to take down Frisco. If Ball State can win this, they will take point number 2. Jordan's able to find one. Shiro is able to find one. Can they keep it alive? Droid finds a second. Keep it going. Shiro finds one. So does Bordy. The ball is on the point. Ball State's just got to fight for it. Can Frisco hold it while the remaining members of Northeastern come back to the fight? It's just ball on point. They give it up for a bit. But we do see Duckwood come out to try and fight it. Are they going to be taken out? Yes. It's just Northeastern that need to fight for it. They get in it the last second. Hedwig falls. So does Frisco. It's a long fight, but can they keep it alive? They've got to fight on the point, and no! Ball State takes number 2.
I think it was a bit of an over-invested. Frisco definitely using the Annihilation a little early, in my opinion, and Northeastern pulling a little bit of a C9 there, not staying on the point. Unfortunate for them. They invested a lot. They did a very good job of prolonging that team fight. It went on for a long time, using the ball and the Genji to stay alive for each other as the other team makes their way, the rest of the team makes their way back. Very good strategy from Northeastern, but it just didn't work out in their favor. So Northeastern has to win this next point to stay alive and to make it to the grand finals tomorrow. They will be going to losers bracket if they do not get this next point. So let's see what they can do.
Again, to use the flex, but it's a bit low. Pete comes out to save him. Are they going to be able to hold out for long enough? Deadeye's able to find one, but so is the bomb. Hedwig finds number 2 on Aexter, and all of Ball State supports are taken out. Can they hold this for long to keep it going? Hedwig finds number 3, and now Ball State, in a bit of a pickle, is most likely going to fall back and give Northeastern the point to start with. Yet again.
Yeah, Ball State just gonna fall back and regroup, but if deja vu is deja vu, Northeastern has gotten that first cap, but they just haven't been able to hold the point for as long as they need to against Ball State. They need to do it this time. They have to. And I know that they can't do it. The bomb is gonna come out from Ash, and it's gonna be total chaos here as they fight to keep this point.
We do see Boyd is able to find one. So is Jakeson. So is Bob. Bordy finds one, and Bob cleans it up for the team kill. Ball State is going to take this point, and now they've just got to hold it once again from the Northeastern team, who got it all the way to 58% if they want to keep this going.
Yes, Northeastern already at 58%. That's good for them. If they win this next team fight and recap the point, it will be very heavy in their favor. But I know that Ball State's not going to let them do that very easily, because they know that this is to win it all. This is to make it to grand finals tomorrow, not have to play another match in order to get there. So Ball State's going to be fighting them for this.
You see the satellite vector come out from Ball State's side, but Hedwig able to find one through it. So is Yakester trading onto Shiro. Droid finds one. Beat from Yakester comes out to try and save away from the Hedwig ult. Can Droid keep it going? We see Ducklin at 2 health as Droid finds number 2. And then Ducklin is taken out, and Ball State overtakes the Northeastern side. Northeastern is now in last fight territory against Ball State. It's going to come down to this. And the only ults that Ball State and Northeastern have are Frisco's Annihilation and Bordy's Bomb coming in soon.
That is not a bad combo of ults to have if you want to try to use that bomb on the Ramatra. So let's see how they get used. Droid a little low on HP already, but Ball State already approaching 100%, so they're going to need to defend here.
Yeah, Droid is taken out of this. So is Spencer, but Ghost is able to find one on the Q-Hawk. Yakester gets one as well on the Hedwig. Can they keep it alive? Yakester's taken out of the fight. We see Tracer Bomb. It doesn't get anybody, but Ghost is able to clean up one on the Shiro. Annihilation comes out. Can they keep it going? Can they hold this one? They trade the point back, and Northeastern's got to hold it from here on out. If Ball State takes one more win, it's over. And 40 able to get a kill on the Ducklin. Can they keep it going? Hedwig trades on the Ghost. Ball State taking the point back. Overtime now in action. Can they keep the Northeastern team away for long enough? Yakester is going to fall. Is anybody else able to fall as well? We'll see what happens here shortly. Frisco's able to find one. The orbital ray comes out as well. And while Northeastern seems to have taken this point, Ball State has one more fight if they can get back to regroup in time.
Yeah, Ball State can need to make their way back here really, really fast. This is the last fight situation for this point. If Ball State wins, they're going straight to the grand finals. If Northeastern wins, they stay alive for another time and have to capture 2 more points to win it all. It looks like they might be able to do so. Overtime clock is falling. And yes, Ball State's going to give them this point. Not give them, but not try to recap it at the end there and just go to the third point. So Northeastern still alive in this one. They played that one very well. Clearly the switch to Tracer is working out for them, and they almost have 3 ults as well. Ball State has a few, but not as much, not as close to their ults. So let's see if Northeastern, how they're going to play this and try to win these next 4 points to win it all.
A good push from Droid, but a better bomb from Frisco, Duckman, and Hedwig is able to clean up the majority of All State's members. Droid is able to find one as well, but right now in a bit of a pickle himself. He is able to find a second one, but Frisco is able to take out Droid. Can Bordy stay alive? No. Looks like Northeastern yet again is going to take the point first.
Northeastern, the king of the first cap, that is 100%. They have gotten first cap every single time, and they proved that second time that they can defend it. They need to do it again, and it's a little too close for comfort. Every single time they have come close to winning a point, it's been 99-99. It's been as close. They have had 0 amount of comfort. They've been fighting for their lives this whole time. So they're going to want to try and see if they can change anything.
You see Bob come out. Same with Annihilation. Is anything going to be able to be found in this fight alone? Hedwig finds 2. Ghost trades on the Q-Hop. Can they keep it going? It's going to be tough as Droid falls. And the rest of Ball State slowly going to crumble as well. They're going to have to go for a regroup. But Northeastern now in a good spot as they get past the halfway marker yet again. And Spencer is unfortunately rationed out and put back to the spawn room for a bit of a stagger.
Yeah, Northeastern doing a very good job here. They're already at 70%. We're already approaching this kind of thing of Ball State are going to need to win this next team fight in order to get this cap, in order to even have a chance of capping third point and winning this game overall. And they have it all to do so. Let's see if they can do it.
We see High Noon as well as the Orbital Rays come out as well as Beat. Can we see anybody fall in this fight alone? It doesn't seem like a Droid is going to fall. And they're going to get a kill onto the Cassidy. You see Duckman and Hedwig find one of their own. And right now, it seems like Northeastern is going to be able to take this one back. But Ball State did buy themselves a little bit of time by taking the point.
Yes, now overtime clock already going to fall out. Is Ball State just going to not try and cap it? It looks like they are going to do so. Okay, it is winner takes all for this map specifically. And the next point here, if Ball State wins, they're straight to the grand finals. If Northeastern wins, they have to keep playing and try to continue the reverse sweep on Ball State. So let's see where it's going to go. Whoever wins this next team fight is very crucial.
Is Northeastern going to keep it going and keep the first point contested alive? Right now, Ball State is trying their hardest not to give that up. Tracer can't really reach anybody on high ground there. Frisco able to find one on a Yakester. Droid a bit low on health as Frisco finds number 2. Q-Hop finds one as well. And Ball State seems to be in a bit of a pickle once again. And it looks like Northeastern is going to take the flash point first again.
Yes, and now Northeastern pushing up a little bit, getting a little aggressive. I don't know if that's really worth it. Just kind of hold the point. Ball State's going to be making their way back now. They have 2 ults. The big problem for them is they aren't even really close with their support ults. So Ball State going to have to find something here. Going to have to get a very quick first cap. They do not want to let Miami win this because they will be very motivated if they do. I mean, you just won 2 in a row. You still have to win 2 more, but they could do it.
Hedwig is able to take one on the Bordy. Hedwig finds his second as well as Frisco with Annihilation, but Droid able to take one out on the Shiro, although he is likely to fall here shortly. Does indeed as Frisco finds number 3, and they are past the halfway marker. Yet again, Ball State has got to fight hard to try and win this game.
Yes, they definitely do, and I know that they can do it. One thing is Frisco did invest the Annihilation into that, but Northeastern still does have 3 ults. Ball State's about to have 3, though. Bordy gonna have to back up, grab that health back, and let's see what they're gonna do. This is a must-win territory for this fight. They have to win this fight. Whoever wins this fight wins the map.
That's very important. The shields blocking off a lot of ghost sightlines here. Yakester able to find the first pick. Is this what Ball State needs? Can they get anything going? Ghost in a bit of a pickle here. Bob comes out. It finds one before Ghost falls to Frisco. Ball State able to turn the point back in their favor. Frisco still finding one of the ghosts, but Droid and Bordy clean up onto Q-Hop, and Frisco as Hedwig is off the map to regroup with their team. Ball State has to hold it from here to the end if they want to take it, and Northeastern just need 1 team fight win if they want to move on and try to go to game number 5.
Yes, if Northeastern wants to bring this game 5, they must win this team fight. Ball State is going to have to hold if they just want to get this over with quickly, go straight into the grand finals. They're going to want to hold here and just get this over as fast as they can. They're already at 50%. and Ghost is getting some nice damage from afar. So let's see what's going to happen in this next team fight.
I'm expecting a lot of ults to get popped here shortly. We see out comes the orbital ray. Are any of the support ults going to come out? We don't see any at the ready. We see High Noon come out. Duckman finds one. Cassidy gets stuck. It's traded out. Annihilation comes out as well from Droid. Spencer finds one. Droid finds one. It's just Briscoe alive, who is likely to fall next. Are they going to be able to get back to point in time? That is the question. I don't know. They play Sombra to try and get there in time. Are they going to? No! Ball State is going to the grand finals!
Ball State is heading straight to the grand finals tomorrow. Northeastern is going to be sent down to the losers bracket. Exhilarating game of Overwatch. They're so close, looking like it could have gone any way at any moment, but in the end, it will be Ball State who has taken this one.
What a game that came down to the absolute wire between these two teams. They are both incredible at what they do, and seeing them play is a wonder to see. These two titans clashing, like I've said before, and wow, what a close match. NEU is going to go down to the losers bracket, but I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to be able to take the win and move back to the grands to fight Ball State yet again and see if they can't come out on top that time.
It will be a third time these two teams have faced this season, and it's just every single time been so close each time. Is Northeastern going to be able to fight if they make it? But it is very likely that they will do so, as they are the number 2 seed and they have just played. We just watched that game. They played so well.
Yeah.
If they make it, are they going to be able to find something to beat Ball State this time?
But for now, that will be it, I believe, from us from the B stream. I think everything else will take place on the ESC Twitch over at ESC_conference. So other than that, thank you all for joining us. We will see you over there for the losers final, and then tomorrow on Sunday, I believe around 2 for the grands. But that will be it for us. Thank you for watching.